Hello, and welcome to another episode of Telling Everybody Everything. This is the first episode where we're actually going to show clips or video if you watch it on YouTube or wherever young people get their videos. There's a podcast that I've been watching on a video, and I don't like it. I have to keep swiping the video away. I just want to listen to it. I feel that it's an intimate medium. I'm joined by Bobby, who's so media trained that he knows not to speak until he's introduced.
Yes, backed by fairly popular demand, I guess. Yeah.
Why are you feeling...
Well,
sounds like you're self-conscious about appearing on the podcast.
No, I'm not self-conscious about it. I just, the moon landing episode.
Yeah.
A lot of blowback.
Yeah.
I forget. There's another one. But anyways, I'm happy to be here. Thank you.
Well, I'm glad that you've opened with blowback because on this podcast, we're not afraid of a little blowback.
Well, this is where the next concern of mine is where this podcast may turn and make me look. We'll find out. I don't know what you want to call it.
Do you mean on the personal injury subject or the Erica Komisar subject?
The first one.
All right. Well, you don't have to discuss that. That's your body, your choice.
Yeah, I'm here now.
You don't have to discuss it.
But I'm here to discuss it.
Okay.
Here I am.
Would you like to begin with Erica Komisar?
No, let's cut right to the meat and potatoes of my problems.
Okay, so last week I was joined in conversation with Erica Komisar, and I will talk to you about that later on my own because there's blowback. We could segue with the blowback into either of these subjects. A lot of people, a lot of left-wing feminists like me were disappointed on me on many levels. So I'm going to address some of that. But first, I have asked Bobby here because we haven't really spoken about our home life or anything going on with us. It's been a busy couple of weeks. And poor Bobby woke up one morning out of nowhere and was massively sidelined, which led to some incredible goings on. Bobby.
Okay, I'll lead off with first, we had Fred's birthday party. I found out at this birthday party that there was going to be a dad's day and a dad's race at Fred's school. And
we find these things out randomly at birthday parties.
Because I'm not on any
because
WhatsApp.
We refuse to join the WhatsApp.
I've been asked to so many WhatsApps, and I just always oh, yeah. And I take the person's number down. We never join. And we sometimes miss out on things or we find out late. In this case, I found out late. You've got a race next Wednesday. It was Saturday. I'm like, oh my God. My groin, I tore it completely about 10 months ago. And it kind of got better. But then as soon as I went for high action sports again, it kind of let me down and I kind of retweaked it.
So anyone who doesn't have a good backstory on Bobby, he was an athlete, then a professional athlete. And when you do that to yourself, this is why I haven't participated in the Olympics or any professional sports. You do get injured. You have compounding injuries that as an adult man, Bobby's had ACL problems, tore the groin in the water skiing accident. These stunts, they have consequences.
They do. The water skiing was just bad decision making at the time.
Yeah.
So but I like to
working out.
Yeah. So I haven't been working out. It was better, but I hadn't put it to a proper test.
Okay.
And a full sprint.
And can we just talk about sports day being so important to Bobby? And I think this is adorable. So I don't know why you're scared of the listener reaction. Well, Bobby, in many ways, is really committed, as someone who's married to me should be, to the kids being sporty and playing sports. And if I could be very honest, no shade against Julie McCarthy, formerly known as Julie Ryan, but showbiz was my life growing up. And my dad had a lot of I wouldn't even call it misogyny, just traditional values where if he had a son, he would have put his son in sports. Carrie, my youngest sister, she did a bit of running just because she's long and lean, but it was mostly dance, singing, gymnastics, tap, ballet, piano, performance, musical theater. And so Bobby has a background in sports. Fenna Grace is a sportswoman. That's a given. She'll be playing for England, and Bobby's the perfect person to support her in that. But Fred isn't so sure just yet. And Bobby was like, I'm going to be there for sports day and show him how fun it is. And so Bobby, we haven't even spoken about the rerouted flight.
We did.
Oh.
Yeah, that was a few episodes ago.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Fine. So then you already know, because you have a better memory and you sleep more, presumably, than I do. Bobby rerouted his entire flight to be there for this sports day.
Which was canceled.
And so that was disappointing. Putting even more pressure, is what I was going to say, on this daddy race, being a really important moment.
So it was a dad's day. So all the dads go, and I found out there was a race, but I've got this problem. My groin, like, I can't even go upstairs without feeling it like it's going to, pop again. So I've got this big groin problem. I did a light sprint. I'm like, oh, it's not really quite right. So
where did you do the light sprint?
Just down the back garden.
Okay.
Down the hill. And I was like, ooh, that doesn't feel right. So I'm like, all right, time to get to work on this groin instead of just kind of letting it heal itself. So I went to the race was on a Wednesday. I went to physiotherapy on the Monday and then on the Tuesday. But on the Monday night, I woke up at like 4 a.m., 5 a.m., and I couldn't even lay on my back because out of nowhere, this, for the first time in my life, hemorrhoid appeared. And it was pretty large, I would say. And
how large, please?
Like
blueberry, grape, walnut.
Walnut, maybe more.
Walnut.
Maybe more than walnut.
More than walnut.
Between walnut and golf ball.
Holy shit, Bobby.
I've never had anything like this, so I couldn't even like I said, sit down, lay down. Even walking was obviously not great. So I'm now 48 hours from the dad's race. And a friend, you're right, he's not sporty, but I think sport is important for anyone growing up, just like teamwork and like trying your best. And like, so I want to be an example for Fred to like, see, you can just try.
But also like you are in it to win it. Like you can win this thing. And in the time that this was all going on, I saw a TikTok where a woman was like, divorced. She's like, when you instantly get the ick, and it's because her husband fell over at the dad's race. Like, it's toxic, but
there's a lot of good clips of like dads and moms like pulling hamstrings, falling down. You get like ex-sprinters like just destroying the field. So there are some good clips.
The dad race matters.
Dad race matters to me, again, to be an example, and I'm competitive, and just to show Fred, look, this can be done.
So Bobby, like, is already sidelined by the groin, but fucking hugely sidelined. Like this was during the heat wave as well. So Bobby is like bleeding. Bobby is sweating. Bobby's like limping around. And like, if I could just say for myself, I was sympathetic. Did you feel that I was sympathetic enough to your plight?
In this case, you were, very sympathetic.
But I didn't really know, like, you never said the word walnut to me. Like,
well, no, you just kept saying, let me see it.
Yeah,
let me see it. And I was like, no, you're not seeing it.
So, but I did use Gemini, not an ad today, but you guys know that I love Gemini. I used it to be like, because I did have small hemorrhoids following my pregnancy, and that's because
I recall.
Blood vessels relax, but they go away, and they were very small. I would describe them as smaller than a blueberry and temporary.
Oh yeah, wow.
But I had
That's
cream.
a blessing.
Yeah, I had cream that really works. Hemorrhoid cream really works. A lot of models put it under their eyes if you have eye bags, because it does something, takes away swelling. Yeah, but I have the opposite of swelling. I have like that, like holes, hollowness. Yeah. So my hemorrhoids went away, but I do remember them being painful, and I was sympathetic to this, but I wanted to see. So I searched on Gemini, like, why would you have a hemorrhoid as a man that just pops up like super painfully in the middle of the night? Because when I had them from childbirth, it didn't just pop up in the middle of the night. And it said that there are some hemorrhoids that can be treated at home, and there are some hemorrhoids that require like literally an A&E visit, and you could have a clot.
Oh yeah.
Torsion. You need to have it like surgically drained, and I really believe.
Yeah, you're trying to send me to A&E.
Well, when I started reading this, and they're very, very painful, and they just come overnight, and that is what you had.
That's what happened, and then I was using the cream. Again, 48 hours from race day, groin's toast. I'm doing physio, just trying to like get in some type of form for this race so I can prove nothing to my child. Anyways, just for myself, I think in the end. But slowly, it started to leak blood. And then I invented what I like to call a gentleman's pad, which is just using fucking Catherine and Violet's lady things as my own pad because it was just leaking. And I went to the fucking zoo with this thing in the heat wave.
I don't know why you did that.
Because I made all these promises. We're going to the zoo on this day, and like, so I take Fenna and Fred to the zoo, and I'm just like,
Yeah, I hope he didn't go near the tiger enclosure leaking all that blood.
I was just leaking the whole time. And then
he was leaking. It's so disgusting. Like, thank God men don't have their periods.
It was like leaking and leaking. Then like I'm like, oh, I need like some more protection because it's just like getting too much. It was just days and days of the leaking.
Which is a really bad red flag, says Gemini.
And the race was in the middle of this whole experience. So anyways, did the physio, have the hemorrhoid, race day comes, and I'm nervous that it's going to be like a 100 meter race, for instance, because it's like a fast sprint, like go, go, go. Yeah. And I don't know if my groin would survive like the instant push off. But the race comes and it's going to be a full lap, 400 meter. I'm like, perfect. That was kind of my race back in the day.
Leaving out the detail, everyone's dressed as pirates.
Oh, yeah. It's pirate themed Dad's Day.
So Bobby's got like a wooden leg from the groin, a hemorrhoid, a pirate outfit. Some of the dads were in like accountancy like suits.
With an eye patch?
With an eye patch, yeah.
Yeah, which is kind of cool. I mean, I kind of did a hack as well. I wore a Pittsburgh Pirates baseball jersey.
Yeah, you looked cool.
So I just was like, oh, I've got that in the locker.
You and Jermaine. Like, there are athlete dads who go to the school.
Yeah.
They looked cool.
There's some good-looking pirates as well, but everyone's having a good time, and the race comes at the very end of the Dad's Day, and I find out, again, it's 400 meter. I'm like, perfect. Like, that was my race, and I can start easy and then work into it. And so I just got up there, set the pace, nice. With the 400 meter, you want to kind of start. It's not a full sprint the whole way, especially with these older dads, because you don't want to tear anything off. But I set the nice pace, and then as we go, I just always look over my shoulder, and then I was able to step on the gas and win the Dad's Day sports race in front of Fred and Fenna.
And
despite everything, I felt like, there should be a Netflix docuseries on the win.
Yeah.
Because things were stacked against me.
At the very least, a gentleman's pad advert, because that's how they pitch pads and tampons to us. So, like, you could go skydiving.
Yeah, you can still do it.
They need to be like, Bobby Kootster's gentleman pads. Like, you can win the dad race.
So, yeah, I won the dad race with a gentleman's pad. And we can make we can actually make a better version of the gentleman's pad.
What would you change? Make room for the balls.
Yeah, there's a few things you could do. Make it a little bit narrower. A little sleeker.
It has to be wide because
but more sports.
It's more
stretchy, more stretchy. I don't know, to go with like.
Well, what you're looking for, it sounds like, is period pants, which is what we love to use even more than pads.
So gentlemen's pants. Just something with a little more like flexion and less like, I guess I'm sure they've been working on these things for girls or women for a long time. So maybe this is the best we can do.
Actually, funnily enough, they have never tested them with blood until this year. They use that blue liquid in the commercials. Wow. They've never even tested them with actual blood. So welcome to the science of the human female body. Fine. But the gentleman's pad was a success. I think.
Yes, that was a real
probably what you don't want to get into too much, but I just have to say, for any scientists, patent makers listening, is that in addition to blood, there is a bit of, seepage of other things that you would need to absorb with a gentleman's pad.
Yeah, I don't know what it would be called. Just miscellaneous fluids were just leaking. That's all I can really say for sure.
It's so crazy, Bobby, that you never went to the hospital. And now is it like completely gone?
It's 95% healed.
Can you show it to me now then?
No.
Hi.
Come on, let's have some dignity.
We don't look.
I'm not I'm very open to talk about this, but I'm not opening up my asshole for you to have a look.
But a lot of married couples,
especially when it's not in any shape to be looked at.
A lot of married couples are eating ass.
Yeah, well, that is fine but they're not eating ass with a hemorrhoid. I don't think. Maybe they are. But
yeah, they are, because a lot of men I think probably always have hemorrhoids because they don't eat and drink properly.
Okay.
And they're probably not even seeking any medical attention like you did. And I think you had a full clot torsion issue. It sounds to me absolutely nuts. Would you call it smaller than a blueberry now? Raspberry,
I haven't been poking around down there too much. I just know there's something still there, and it could be scar tissue. I don't know. So there's something still there, but I don't know what it is.
Yeah, it could just be scar tissue, or just
healing. Yeah, it's just
Why don't you try to pop it back in and see if it stays?
I'm not doing any. Like I said, I'm not poking around down there anymore.
Okay.
I'm on track. My groin's getting better. I'm going to physio regularly. I'm trying to fix that. I won the dad's race.
and the glory from winning the dad's race. So all the teachers. So I come to the school. I wanted to see the dad's race, and I had to drive Violet to school. On my days off, it's like just as busy. I'm really getting a taste of Bobby's life. It's just as busy as a day on because the kids go to all these different schools, and I'm trying to be. I'm trying. Again, we'll get to my conversation with Erica Komisar. But I'm trying to acknowledge that an adolescent brain is a lot like a toddler brain. And even though Violet can take public transport or an Uber, well, she won't take public transport, but I just like to drive her. I like to be around her whenever I can. And if that means driving her to school, then that's what I do. So I drove Violet to school. I drove to the school, and there were no moms and no like spectators for this dad's race, which is a huge event. We take it very seriously in our house. There've been like physio appointments and everything. And
I think that's the problem. I think I took it the most seriously.
Yeah.
And thank God I did.
So you should.
As I should. And
well,
again,
these dads are looking back thinking, all right, I should have taken that more
well,
seriously.
the teachers and the other moms heard about who won the dad's race.
Yeah.
The kids were talking.
Everyone's talking about it.
Like, whose dad won the dad's race? I had a couple moms come up to me, a couple teachers, some staff. So yeah, I was kind of like a little mini celeb athlete for a few days at the school run.
Yeah.
And they didn't even know about the hemorrhoid. Had I told them that, they would have been more impressed.
Well, now they know.
I didn't even mention the groin. I wasn't making any excuses. But at the end of the day, after I've won, I could now, let this information go.
Do you remember who came second and third?
No, I was just...
What about Jermaine?
I'm sure he was right behind me. He was right behind me the whole way, but I couldn't really tell.
So were you faster than Jermaine, or was he not really trying?
It's hard to say.
Huh.
I run a good 400. Like I said, if it was a 100, I was quite nervous because I don't know if I would have survived the quick start with my groin.
And if you'd like to see just how fast Bobby is, there are some old American football videos on his Instagram. I think you might have to scroll far. Maybe you could post.
I can maybe repost them down the line.
We could put one on the podcast video.
Well, the thing is, I showed Fred and Fenna these clips, and now every time we watch football or golf, they're like, "Which one's you?" I was like, "No, that was a long time ago." Watching live football, and Fenna's like, "Which one are you, Daddy?" I'm like, "No, not out there."
They don't know that.
I know, but
I think it's sweet, and Fenna will be out there one day.
Fenna went snow skiing with me this week, so
I just don't feel that we should talk about that.
We're not going to, but she always wants to do something. She wants to go surfing. She wants to go skiing, skating. Ice skating drives her nuts because she can't really do it.
Yeah.
I'm like, you know what? Skiing's easy. I'll take Fenna skiing.
I
won't go into the dangerous skiing that we did, but everyone's ended off happy and healthy, and she thought it was so much fun. And good for her. She's so brave.
Skiing is just something posh people do because they have no natural predators. They think, I'm going to throw myself off this mountain.
Listen, we grew up in Canada. You ski when you're young, so. But
you know what I think we're not going to get into the legalities of what Bobby did to take Fenna skiing because it's problematic. Even though I believe that you are physically safe with the children all the time because you're there and
I was there
but I think we need to go on some family ski holidays now.
Well, this is what I'm doing. I'm setting, now I'm going to maybe sign her up for some lessons, and she's excited. She just loves dangerous things. I know. Like surfing, my God.
Speed. She wants to surf. Although we showed her the film Lilo and Stitch for the very first time. And that is an old film. I don't know if it's from the 90s or the early
2003, I think.
Yeah. And it is kind of early Moana. I think it's a Polynesian young woman who's got this alien friend, Stitch, and she surfs for whatever reason. I never watched Lilo and Stitch. It wasn't I was at the Playboy Mansion when that came out. I was living my best life. No kids, not watching cartoons, just being exploited left and right. And then I found out that the voice of Lilo is a young woman, who just died, age 35. And I thought, what did she die of? I looked it up, AIDS. I didn't even know people were dying of AIDS anymore.
I didn't think so either. But I think were they a junkie?
She did have a drug dependency problem.
So then.
Allegedly, I think that's what I read. But how terrible. Then how do you tell the kids that?
Well, you don't tell them that. That's what you do. You just leave that part out. By the way, see that? That voice? That person's dead, Fenna.
No.
What do you like?
Look, because Fenna's starting to ask questions because we
I know, but we
have
don't
a connection to Anna Kendrick, who voices Poppy in Trolls, and Violet has talked to Fenna about that because Fenna also.
But Fenna thinks she wants to meet the real Poppy. She doesn't know that like she hasn't put it together that's a voice yet. I don't think.
You're right.
She's gonna want to. She'd be very disappointed if she met Anna Kendrick. Like, wait, where's the real Poppy
She would
still?
be livid. She'd be livid.
Unless it's like a Poppy costume.
So do you know we were invited to the premiere of like real live action Moana that is coming out, starring Dwayne "The Rock" Johnston. Johnson or Johnston?
Johnson.
Oh, I always want to say Johnston because it's Andrew Johnston, producer and friend of this podcast.
Yeah.
Contributor.
Friend of the show.
Yeah.
Contributor to the show.
Yeah. And we've been invited to the premiere, but it's at like 8 p.m.
I can't do that.
Can't do that.
But I did go to another thing that happened. I went to a Kings of Leon show by myself because my one friend that I would go with was in Australia. Shout out to Steen. And
Steen Riskopoulos, a very funny comedian if you want to follow him.
Very, very funny. He does great.
Sarah Pascoe's husband.
Yep. Does great little sketch comedies on his Instagram as well. But I was like, you know what? I'll just go by myself. And when I got there, there was obviously it's like a camping thing, but there was so many kids like Fred and Fenna's age that were still awake at like 9:30. And I think we have to start trying to do things like that.
Totally agree.
Because
so far we've been raising these kids too Canadian.
I know. I've been inspired by like seeing so many families and the kids are having fun and the parents, like it was a family friendly event.
Can I just say, those parents have kids like Fenna.
Yes.
Those parents do not have a Fred in the family who would
That's
be like,
true.
what time? Like because
When's the
Violet,
show
I used to
finished?
take Violet to, obviously, as you know, late night gigs, festivals, drag her around in the buggy. I'd put blankets and pillows in the buggy. She didn't even have a screen back then. They didn't exist. And she'd dress up and she loved all the comedians and she was with me and it was very wholesome and she could sleep. She always had an opportunity if she wanted to sleep in the buggy, but she was just cool like that. And a lot of British people do that. A lot of European people obviously take their kids out late to restaurants and to weddings. And when you first came to the UK, do you remember we went to the pub and Jen's baby, who's now 7 years old, Waverly, was in the pub. And I remember Bobby was like, we got babies in the pubs here? Yes.
And dogs in the pub,
Babies and dogs.
Yeah, it was really cool to see actually, because that's not something that happens in almost all of North America, but for sure where we grew up in Canada.
That's what makes them such losers. Like,
well, it's just they just don't know, or like dogs certainly aren't allowed in.
No, dogs, no.
And then babies, like people are just used to it here, and they don't attempt to do that there. I don't know.
But they don't even get babysitters in Canada. They'll be like, my mom's watching the baby.
Yeah, it'll be like a cousin or a grandmother or something. Yeah, there's no
like. What do you do if you're a babysitter in Canada? You just
you just molest children.
True.
That's what happens. It's happened. It happens all over. So I think that's why babysitters are kind of obsolete.
We had great.
Although your relatives, your uncles and aunts aren't. Anyways.
My uncles and aunts. Well, none of them were confirmed.
No, that's it. Not confirmed.
Molesters or pedophiles,
right.
but like they were alcoholics. So we weren't babysat.
I was babysat by. Like we just had a group of cousins that were like babysat by all the parents getting fucking plastered, and the cousins just look after themselves. Which is like,
that's when problems arise.
Yep.
Do you know what worries me is that like I have read recently on TikTok, not to take it to too dark of a place, but people who are like, who talk about, well, if you look at even these, I don't mean to put the onus on Mormon families because I'm sure it happens in any culture, any religion, but the Duggars who are very famous, they had reality shows and everything else. I think they have 21 kids. Their show was called 21 Kids and Counting or something. The eldest Duggar, and I think even another Duggar, have now been like properly done for abusing their sisters. And it's like they lived in this family where there's so many kids left to their own devices. The young men are growing up with no sex education whatsoever. They're confused. Who knows what's happened to them? I mean, it's just like...
I think as we've gotten older, you realized how much this shit is out there in every circle. And before they would just kind of not bring it up or just be hidden, and now it's kind of coming to light more.
Well, oh my God. And this just coming back to my memory. There was an incident with me that I absolutely don't remember, and I don't think anything like too sinister happened. But exactly as you said, there was an older boy cousin who was with me when I was 3, and my mom walked in and he was like putting my trousers on, and my mom's like, what are you doing? He's like, oh, she needs to go to the toilet. My mom was like, she can go to the toilet herself. But like, and that, I think I don't know what was happening.
Listen, I think it happened in a lot of families. Like people were playing doctor and things are getting weird. But where did they learn how to do these games? Is it something that kids do naturally? or is it something that is taught by a creep and then it's just the pedophilia or abuse is just passed down? It's just like,
how did we get here?
I don't know. Let's backtrack to the hemorrhoid. Still not finished.
Can I see it?
No, you cannot see it. The amount of times you've asked me to see it.
I don't understand.
And you're just a sick freak. That's what it is. Like, you love to like pick and pop and pull and like you pick. Look, you're picking your skin right now.
Yeah, because I have bites.
I know, but then you scratch and scratch until it like bleeds, and you're like, well, just gushing blood out of my arm, and then you won't put a Band-Aid on to actually heal it.
Put a gentleman's pad.
Put a Barbie Band-Aid, so it just stopped you from picking it. God, anyways, you just love sick things, so I'm not going to give you the satisfaction of having a look at this thing just for your own warped mind.
Fine.
Pimple popper.
All right. Well, thank you for being a guest today.
Yeah, it's been a real pleasure.
Well, look, you and I, we put our privacy on the line to
have
illuminate truths for people, and this will help people.
Yeah, I don't mind sharing this. Like I said, I don't mind that, but I do mind bending over and like showing you. Like, that's, I guess, where we found I draw the line.
Let me tell you something right now for free. I would bend over and show you absolutely anything you wanted on my body. Easily.
You have.
I will, and I will again. I don't care. That's why I don't understand.
I know, but you're sick.
I'm not sick.
You're sick. Like, you're like freaky. Not like
freaky?
Not like in the sexual way. Just like sick shit.
Like what?
Like pimples, wounds, blood, scabs, pus.
Do you know what? I do not like pus. It's not that I like it. It's that I have the constitution to like remain calm and deal with it, and I'm worried about you. That
I know, but like, you got your facelift, which you've shared, and so you had like little scars, and you just scratch and bleed and like not let things heal properly because you can't resist like the pick.
That's not true at all. I didn't pick my scars at all. There was a stitch that didn't dissolve that I pulled out, yes, and there was something wrong, and I got it out. Because my body, that's not fault.
But you have to admit that you pick your nails, you pick things. You like to pick things.
Yeah, but that's a different thing. I want to see.
But any scab that I don't want to get into trouble here.
Go ahead.
But you like to like pick your scabs and they bleed again. They never heal because they just bleed and then bleed and then.
But I'm not going to pick your butt.
You would probably try.
I wouldn't.
Because you're going to see it and you'll be like, well, I know what I can do. And you like lean in and try and figure something out, or you'd be like, let me get my tweezers. You did like come up with a tool. And
excuse me, I've helped you many times. So Bobby had an eyelash that was like in his eye. We couldn't find it, and then when I looked in his eye, I realized it was crazy. It was an eyelash that decided to sprout out and grow like in.
It's just like poking my eyeball.
To poke his eyeball. And no one, if you didn't have a wife like this, I have the calm, steady hand and the focus in the face of like medical danger to get tweezers in his eyeball and grasp the eyelash and pluck it out, which didn't hurt, by the way.
No, that was a welcome relief. Yeah, that was amazing because I was definitely in a lot of like annoying pain.
So I love you so much. I'm not going anywhere. Your eyeball and your butt hole are the same to me. And I kind of do just want to see it.
There you go.
Okay. Well,
okay.
Would you like to stick around for the Erica Komisar?
Maybe I'll stick around. I've got a guy coming soon. What time is it?
You got 12 minutes till the guy.
Yeah, I can maybe.
All right. Well, we'll have a brief.
I'll just kind of lay in the back weeds here and see what happens.
We'll have a break and we'll come right back and see if Bobby's still with us. Hopefully is. Welcome back to another episode of Telling Everybody Everything. We are still joined by Bobby. Bobby, have you seen the clips from my interview with psychoanalyst and parenting expert Erica Komisar?
I have seen some of the clips, yes.
What did you think broadly?
Broadly, this is maybe why I shouldn't have stuck around. I mean, it makes a lot of sense to me, a lot of things she's saying. I haven't listened to the full thing, but from the clips, there's a few I'm like, I don't understand why people are upset that a baby should be with their mother more.
Or their primary caregiver.
Whatever. I don't know.
She says mother because generally that is the mother. She doesn't mean to say like it's never same-sex couple. It's never the dad. But she just, I think if we start using language like people kind, then I would think mothers would be annoyed by that because it erases their massive sacrifice. Like for hundreds of years, it has not every single time, but most of the time been the mother. That's why she uses that language.
Oh, yeah. It's been the mother for since 100 years ago, or less than. So,
or more than.
I don't know where we're at, but something then. Like, it's been
Look,
for all of human history.
I will tell you anecdotally, and I think it's okay to share your neurological findings if that's your field of study. It's not just her science lab field of study. She actually takes cases as a psychoanalyst. She deals with mothers every day in her office and cites many case studies in her book, Being There, and also in her new book, The Child-Friendly Divorce. She talks about women who come into her office, and sometimes it's couples, same-sex couples, a husband and wife, and they want to mediate a divorce. There are women who go, I never would have left if I thought the judge, and this is especially true in America, was going to split my baby like a sandwich and give it to the dad half the time. Now, should a baby have access to both parents? Absolutely. But not everything is perfect. Sometimes relationships break down. Sometimes the dad, more often than the mom, is absent, is working, is cheating, is doing whatever, and the mom is very strongly attached to the baby who's breastfed. And in that instance, when the mom is clearly defined as the primary caretaker, you're not going to give a brand new baby to a dad who's just going to like hire a nanny to look after it because he doesn't know how to look after a baby anyway because he hasn't done it since the baby's been born. Like that, that is not just mine, what's fair, what's not fair. It'd be very traumatic to the baby.
Well, I'm just going off my own personal experience.
Yeah.
So when Fred was born, you worked quite a lot, and I was kind of taking care of him most of the time, I would say. And once we had Fenna, you were obviously more involved with Fenna, and I don't know, I felt with a really young baby.
Yeah. Yeah.
I didn't have I don't know, mentally or physically, I just would get flustered if they're like I'm just not equipped as well as you are by far to handle a small baby. I can do it. It's just stressful for me.
It was so stressful. I would go to the point of saying, and again, our anecdotal experience won't be true in every family.
Of course not. I'm just saying my
own. For us, I would go
me.
As far as saying it gave Bobby like intrusive thoughts, postpartum anxiety, like all these problems. And why did we enter into that agreement? Well, I was being a left-wing feminist, which is great to be. And can I caveat this by saying, I think mothers should be in work. I think you should have access to your own finances. I think it's financial abuse if you don't. It keeps you trapped in a marriage. I don't think that people should be subjected to any kind of abuse, physical, sexual, emotional abuse, any coercive control, like obviously. And that's what fucks me up about everyone getting upset. Obviously, all these caveats come first, and we just give you the respect of assuming that you know that, I think, Erica and myself in the talk. But for us, I believed like, oh, 50-50, like everything's equal. I'll go back to work and Bobby can stay home with the baby. And I actually wish that I had considered like, okay, you can be as progressive as you like, but there are some things that if you just go with the flow are easier. We were also coming out of the pandemic.
Well,
I felt like I had to get back to work.
And we started to take like Fred with us, which didn't really work. He's like being at home rather than like
Fred's a
you're
special
on tour.
case.
Like, so we're in like Sweden, Finland, Montenegro, and we're just taking Fred every time somewhere new. And he just liked being at home, and he still does. So yeah, we were just trying to figure out the best way to do it for Fred. And then when Fenna came, you're just a premier option
I'm
to
really
look
good
after
with
baby.
small babies,
and I like you say, I didn't like abuse them or like neglect them. I just, was a bit anxious. And then
you might disagree with this in your own life, in your own relationships, in your own parenting, and that's fine. And Erica makes room for that. But she does say that fathers and mothers in a heteronormative relationship, you might not be in one, are equally important, but being equal doesn't mean being the same. And that won't be true in every relationship, but in our relationship, certainly, as progressive as we are, as feminist as we both are, despite what you think about Bobby, he's been misrepresented.
I've got a bad rap, but
I think that some traditional things now, our fourth child, our third child together, just work better when the kids are old enough to like wrestle and play. And I don't mean like 8 years old. I mean like 1 year old, 2 years old. then they really love Bobby's energy. They gravitate towards Bobby. There are things he offers them that I don't. He's also very soft and very caring and very loving and very like, I don't know what you want to call it, as an attachment figure. They're very attached to him. I would say Bobby is definitely Fred's primary attachment figure, and then has been Fenna's primary attachment figure since I've been so busy with Holland.
Yeah.
And there are parts of that that break my heart, because Fenna was kind of mine. Remember, she was like, I'm Mummy's girl.
Yeah.
But overall, as a family, I think this is a season where we're actually coming to the end of it. Holland has just been mine. Like, that's how we did it. We were like, you sleep in your own room and look after this small baby, and we will divide and conquer. And Bobby will sleep in the nursery with the older two. And as much as we've been a little bit detached during that time, holistically for the whole family and for what everyone is best suited to achieve, I do think it's worked.
It has. And now we're all starting to sleep in the same room together. And I've had Holland a few nights. You've been busy. And now that she's old enough and like the kids kind of understand more, they're not, I don't know. Yeah, it's all kind of coming together. Whatever, it wasn't necessarily a plan, although it started as one. I think it's worked pretty well with Holland.
Well, it was trial and error. We kind of just got closer
kind of
to
like
this with
figured out
every baby.
And
step. With Fred, it's not as though I just like fucked off. I was still
you're
breastfeeding him.
You're absolutely there.
I was around, but we just kind of should, in retrospect, if I could do it all again, with all of them really, and who knows if I kind of get into this like stress response where I'm like, gotta work. I do take jobs. I'm from like a freelance mindset where I don't know when the next job is coming from. And also when I take a job, it doesn't mean I'm in an office 40 hours a week every day. It means we can take the baby a lot of the time. I hosted Have I Got News For You with Holland and brought her with me when she was 10 days old or 2 weeks old, whatever. We can do those little jobs, but with Fred, it was tough to say because it was a big opportunity. It was a big tour, and it was that big Amazon Prime show.
Well, yeah, and like...
But maybe I would have been like, no, I need to be at home with this very small baby for a bit. And Erica Komisar, in her work, she does advocacy. She blames the structural design of a capitalist society, not individual mothers' morals. She advocates for mothers on the lower income end, but her work is to say, if you are, maybe you're not, if you are in a position where one of you, especially the mother with a small baby or the primary attachment figure in a non-heteronormative relationship, if one of you can take your foot off the gas professionally for a bit, and you have chosen the right partner that you can do that, and you're not with some abuser or some dick, then you can go back into your work. That's what she's saying. She's just making people aware of things that they might not have otherwise considered, and giving people space if they want to take a traditional path to be like, okay, that's fine. And there is a lot of messaging that says you should have your own money. It's dangerous for you not to work. Like, that messaging exists, and I think there's a place for her messaging as well. Don't you say?
Yeah, I don't know her work that well. Just like I said, based on clips, I kind of get where she's going, obviously. So, I mean, and again, just in our household, our family, my experience, I mean, she seems to be on the ball with some things for sure. Again, I don't know much. But,
you know, I get why far-right groups and right groups like her, because it does bolster their idea of traditionalism. And she'll say, like, you've got to choose the right man. It's like, sometimes there are women who've tried to choose the right man and they don't know. And then he turns, like, dodgy. And where are you if you're a trad wife? You're stuck at home with 5 kids and you haven't worked in that entire time. Like, that is dicey. That's why I think with all media, with all information that I see, I think it's there for you to take the elements that are meaningful to you and leave the others behind. Like, take what applies to you, discard the rest. You don't have to be in the comments being like, well, I formula fed. Like, there are people who are coming out total left field. I'm like, where did you even get to?
Yeah, well,
you think that's what we're saying.
A polarizing figure.
I know.
Because it all takes is one thing, you know.
Yeah.
Like, she's compared to Jordan Peterson.
Well, she works with Jordan
Peterson. There you go.
But she said, I'll sing for my supper. Like, these are the conservative groups who want to pay me to come and speak. If a left-wing feminist group wants to pay me to come and speak, I'll go speak there.
Yeah.
She did say in the interview that when she released her first book, Being There, aged 50, like, she didn't have this big career until her 50s because she stayed home raising 3 of her kids while her husband worked. And now they've traded places, which I look forward to in my retirement.
Yeah.
She said she thought all mothers would embrace it because she felt that the message was like mothers are taking on too much in this transition between traditionalism and feminism, and that we should get there. But right now we're just kind of doing everything. We're like mothering a lot and also working a lot and not sleeping. And if you are working a job and you're looking after baby and you're not sleep training them and they're up in the night, then that is 2.5 full-time jobs.
Yeah, the women are getting worn out. Most successful societies, like in history, like have the women being like taken care of and not overworked, and so. And
look, it's not going to be true for every family, but you might be able to take 5% of it. You might be able to take 40% of it. Who knows? And when she talks about divorce, you can leave whoever you want to leave. She just wants you to understand, if you are a mother of a small infant, that especially with the American judicial system, it's not a given that you're just going to get the infant. It's just really not. And there are a lot of mothers who sit in her office and they go, I cannot believe this is what's happened. So that's why she says, stay if you can. And I have women in my comments who are like, this is lethal advice. If you stay with the coercive, controlling abuser, and it's like, no. Don't Listen, you stay.
You've seen the comments about the moon landing. How can you be with such a fucking idiot? What a red flag. It's like, listen, come on.
I love you, and I love that you question things and whether we agree or disagree on
But
stuff.
like, I just believe it. You can believe whatever you like.
Yeah,
well. And like, I don't understand why people have to get so upset that like people have an opinion of something. Like, just believe what you want to believe. You don't have to like, I don't know, attack.
And it's not Bobby's fault. It is the government's fault. There are people who've pointed out science about the moon landing being like, there are mirrors and you can actually check it out. Okay. But anytime the government is telling me to believe something, I am automatically suspicious.
The government has only ever lied to you forever and ever and ever. So
yeah.
It's like, why do you believe anything from the government? So my natural response is to not believe anything the government says, because they fucking lie all the time.
How much money do you think they want?
Weapons of mass destruction. Yeah. Like the list goes on and on and on and on.
I mean, just fucking open a window. Look what's going on right now.
So, like, I just don't believe the government. Sorry.
Yeah. Well, and that's it. It's not you mistrusting science.
No.
Same with the vaccines and everything else. It's like, if it was just a scientist being like, here's what I believe. But when the government gets involved and starts to profit, from stuff, you're like, oh, God.
Like war is profitable. Like all these wars going on. It's just like, okay.
Or we haven't even spoken about Gwyneth Paltrow advertising condominiums in like New Israel.
God.
How'd she think that wasn't going to get out?
I don't know. I'm not going to touch on much of that one.
The Gwyneth Paltrow advert alone is some white nonsense that I never thought I would see in my lifetime.
Tim Dillon, love him or leave him, he has some funny bits about like rebuilding Gaza, and it's going to be like a tourist destination. Anyways,
but people
sidetrack.
are floored by that.
Yeah.
When that's all that has ever happened since the beginning of time. Where are we from?
Well,
Canada.
The other thing too is like the other countries that have been like taken over, like they took down, what's the guy, the Libyan leader? His name's not coming right now.
I'll ask Gemini.
No, it's the Gaddafi.
Is it?
Whatever. Anyways, they took over Libya. Yes, he was like a dictator, but Libya is in no better shape than they were when it was toppled over. Like Libya now is just a rebel wasteland.
It was Gaddafi, dada.
Yeah. So I'm saying that, yes, he was a dictator, whatever, but the people of Libya, I promise you, are not happier overall, I think. But so they go in and topple the country and then
what the heck?
Steal the resources.
I dropped off Violet at school and now I have an email from school saying Violet's not at school. So
surprise, surprise. Like, what a shocker.
We're going to take another break to do
all right.
Be right back. Welcome back. Bobby's ready to finish off his Libya rant.
Violet is at school, we found out.
Yeah.
So that's the important thing. Whether she's in class or not remains to be seen.
Maybe she's
it's getting close to the end of the line for those kids, so God bless them. I was just talking about Libya, and like I said, stealing resources. And so now American energy companies have moved into Libya, like Chevron and ExxonMobil, and it's the same playbook over and over. Use a dictator who is kind of nasty, topple him over, and then steal the resources. It's a tale as old as time, and I almost respect him for it. Whatever, people have long, ravaged, pillaged countries, and they still do it today, just in a different fashion.
Are you trying to get killed?
It's best time that I go now.
Okay. Well, let me know if you reconsider. Let me have a little look at your bum. Good luck launching the gentleman's pad.
Well, I haven't even been looking at it, so I don't know what it's like. I haven't felt around. It's been an interesting week of blood and guts and heart and determination. So I'm just glad to be here still.
Well, I think we're all very proud of you for winning the dad's race.
Yeah, thank you.
And if you would consider taking a photo of it and sending it to me,
I will not be taking any photos. No, it would be, you have to.
I sent you so many pics of my blue.
You'd have to like get some like date rape drugs or something. That's the only way.
All right, I think it's time for you to go.
Okay. Well, thanks for having me again. We'll see you next time.
Always gets to the Quaaludes with you. My good friend and yours, comedian Andrew Johnston, has got some pop culture / celeb / Hollywood news for us from LA. Andrew?
Big news for anyone crestfallen about what was believed to be the lost Taylor Frankie Paul season of The Bachelorette. According to TMZ, it's been found, and some messy Mormon antics will be coming to screens near you as soon as this coming month. Who could forget that back in February, a few weeks before Paul's season was set to premiere, People reported that The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives had paused filming season 5 due to a domestic violence incident between Paul and her ex-boyfriend, Dakota Mortensen, in which allegations were made on both sides. Then, less than a week before the Bachelorette premiere date, TMZ published footage from an earlier 2003 incident in which Paul was seen throwing some very unfortunate stools around and was ultimately charged with domestic violence and child abuse. Hours after the TMZ footage came out, Disney announced it would, quote, not move forward with the new season, quote, in light of the newly released video. However, according to unnamed, quote, production sources, editors never stopped cutting the episode, and the network has been testing audiences to see how they feel about TFP. Coupled with her recent social media blitz detailing her personal growth and healing journey, not to mention the public at large goldfish memories, it looks like Taylor Frankie will give us her rose after all. Was this always going to be the outcome? Was it just a matter of, let's perform moral outrage for a few months and assume the lack of object permanence in today's media landscape takes over? Like, Miss Thing is on tape hurling a stool that hit her 5-year-old daughter. Does that just not matter?
No, absolutely correct. It does not matter. All publicity is good publicity, and Taylor Frankie Paul is just really compelling to American viewers. I think reality TV has reached such a saturation that even being an abuser like this is not enough to get you canceled. Though I wonder if it would have had she been a man. I actually couldn't believe they pulled the series in the first place. Not because I don't think that's the right thing, but I just thought, surely not. They're not going to spend all that money and then not show the series. Rightly or wrongly, whether they set out to do it on purpose or not, it will just hype people up to watch the series. It certainly publicized the series. The fact that she clearly has, let's call it mental health issues by the looks of things, will just make people gravitate toward it more. And it is a shame, really, that it does seem she's getting away with it. Or not getting away with it. Maybe it isn't a case of getting away with it. If I were her and I was navigating this kind of mental health wormhole, I think I would want to hide under a rock. I wouldn't be like, yeah, let's make me more famous right now. The duty of care over there just seems to not be the same as it is here. But we will be seeing it. Of course we are.
Another day, another former domestic staffer filing a lawsuit against Kylie Jenner. This time, it's a pretty devastating story of a now former private chef alleging she was forced to perform undue physical labor after disclosing her pregnancy, which led to a miscarriage. In the suit, the chef alleges she worked 12-hour shifts, tasked with physically demanding work despite informing her supervisors about her high-risk pregnancy, and names the management company in the suit as well. Said chef entered Kylie's employ in 2022 and told her supervisors that she was 3 months pregnant in late 2024, with doctors stipulating that she, quote, required reasonable accommodations to protect her health and pregnancy. Cut to New Year's Eve 2024. She was instructed to, quote, lift and transport heavy food items across the street and uphill without assistance. Following the tasks, the suit alleges, she, quote, became dizzy, began choking and gasping for air, and required assistance from security personnel who intervened by providing water and aid. A few short months later, on February 1st, 2025, she worked at a birthday party for one of Jenner's children in Palm Springs, which, even in winter, can see temperatures as hot as current-day Europe. Yikes! Now 5 months pregnant and again tasked with more physical labor, she broke down from exhaustion and physical strain in the bathroom and woke up the next morning experiencing severe hemorrhaging. Upon a visit to the emergency room, she was told that she had tragically lost the baby. After telling her supervisors about the miscarriage, she claimed she was, quote, falsely accused of leaving the kitchen and refrigerator in disarray, and also claims a supervisor told her while she was experiencing severe depression to, quote, stop it, just stop it. You're upsetting Kylie. You're making her depressed. She claims the management company offered her a settlement and release agreement in May 2025, which would have taken away her right to sue, which she obviously didn't take, and is seeking unspecified damages. The chef's attorney, who also happens to be representing the 2 other former domestic employees suing Jenner, has said, quote, this case raises important questions about how women are treated in the workplace during pregnancy and after pregnancy loss. So the whole you being depressed about your miscarriage is really bumming Kylie out, being not a great look notwithstanding. What's your take on this? Is part of the expectation of service as a domestique physical labor, or should accommodations have been made? And you've obviously worked while pregnant a few times. What accommodations do you insist on? And what advice would you give other women in this situation?
I mean, not to Erica Komisar, I told you so, the whole thing, but had this woman's physical needs being prioritized, because I get it, she's at work. In America, there's terrible maternity pay. You don't want to lose your job. It's presumably a very high paid and high profile and good for future job to be a freelance chef, and you're working in Kylie Jenner's house. So she wouldn't want to step down from that. And I think had she, and it is tragic. There's no way around that. It's fucking awful. Had it not ended with the tragedy that it did end with, she might have looked back and been like, yeah, in that pregnancy, I pushed myself physically. Maybe I shouldn't have done that. I should have asked for more help with that. Maybe I should have pushed back a bit harder when they told me to carry that stuff. But oh well, because you do see pregnant women all the time, like weightlifting or bodybuilding or carrying toddlers, like older children. You see women pushing themselves to the fucking limit, as I have every time in my pregnancy, and nothing bad happens. And so unfortunately, bad things do happen. And whether it's related or unrelated, it's a tragedy and it should have been dealt with. I've used the word tragedy a lot, but like how else can you describe it? It should have been dealt with in a different way. The trouble when you are attached to a celebrity is, I'm sure that to anyone listening, they think, well, how could Kylie Jenner herself be so heartless? And it will come down on her if damages are paid, and it comes down on her reputation. But it's likely that she would have known very little about this, because everything's dealt with via the management company, the house manager. It's a toxic work culture coming from them as well. And I can tell you that the women I know who employ staff, and even I have employed nannies and a cleaner, you really are running an HR department. And there are women I know who don't have their own careers outside of the house. They are like career moms and homemakers. And all they talk about is the staff. Like it consumes them. And they'll be like, oh, this with the staff, that with the staff. Like you can get in the mix deeply. And I'm sure Kylie Jenner is doing absolutely none of that. So yeah, this is a tragedy. If I haven't said that word enough, my advice would definitely be to advocate for yourself, not to apologize for yourself, and to stand in knowing that you do have rights as a pregnant person, though not in America. They will replace you. They will find some arbitrary reason, as they have found here, like you've left the fridge unkempt. They will find some reason to replace you. My advice is don't have children in America. Don't. It's just not safe.
Emily Ratakowski is speaking out about how single motherhood shattered her sense of identity and what, or more specifically, who she did about it. In a self-penned essay titled Sex and the Single Mom for the Cut, the British-American actress and model opened up about the utter failure she felt after separating from her ex-husband, who she doesn't name in the piece, but we will because it's pretty public record, the producer of Uncut Gems, Sebastian Beer McClard, offering up this searing take on the scarlet letter she felt accompanied single motherhood. Quote, unquote, even as a kid, I reasoned that all of the things I could grow up to be, it was crucial to avoid becoming a single mom. The term itself could be lodged as an insult. Having a child with the wrong man was the fastest way to ruin your life as a woman. It meant having no freedom, no choices, no emergency exit, all baggage and no security. And so, what did M. Rata, as she's known on the streets, do about it? Well, she took to those very streets and, quote, decided to fuck her way into a new kind of woman. Ever the actress, she developed a character after her divorce and her period of compulsive dating, and that character was a capital V villain with a diabolical lowercase v. In the vein of Poison Ivy, Catwoman, sexual but scary, and she drank gin martinis. Lots of them. In her telling, Emily Ratakowski, divorced single mom, was replaced with Emily Ratakowski, woman who needs nothing from men. Prior to divorce, she wouldn't bed anyone she wasn't sure would fall in love with her because she wanted to be, quote, precious. And keeping her body count low was, quote, insurance that made it so she'd never be cheated on and always be loved, happy, safe, and taken care of. Instead, she learned the hard way that being alone was better than most partnerships. Now in her well-earned so-called hoe era, she realized she wasn't getting off on the sex as much as she was getting off on being romantically inaccessible for the first time in her life, and the more she seemed to not need a man, the more desperately he needed her. Told by the few other single moms she knew that men, quote, wouldn't care that she had a kid, she actually discovered they liked it. An interesting, too true insight she gives on the matter, quote, there were many men who experienced the loneliness that comes with years of selfishness. They were particularly attracted to the idea that being a parent meant self-sacrifice was a given in my life. Did they want me as their mommy? Maybe. I'd add, definitely. She concludes that despite her performance as supervillain, a character she believed made her impenetrable in the figurative sense, while being very penetrable in the literal sense, she was just as misguided and vulnerable in her 20s whilst playing the good girl, and had just never connected to her own desires. It was all ridiculous, a silly game of performance with no substance. And just a note to any scolds out there, she never slept over and was always there to relieve the sitter and greet her son's cries at 6 a.m. despite her hangover. Is the good girl gone divorced bad girl in her villain era who realizes it's all just a performance that achieves the same end a common story arc in your experience? What was your journey through single mother stigma like? Have times changed? Did you have a character you embodied like her, or is that just very woo-woo method actor behavior?
Good for her. Very important to note, I did not have the confidence, body, wealth, or profile or even access to Pete Davidson's dick that Emily Ratakowski had when she became a single mother. But it is comforting to hear, I think, probably for many single mothers or former single mothers, that even one of the most beautiful women in the world, with all of the things that you could want, even she felt stigmatized, even she felt shame, because you can't help the culture that you grow up in. And it is ingrained in us that it is your failure if your relationship doesn't go forward, that you've chosen wrong, that you navigated issues wrong, that you communicated wrong, that you weren't able to manipulate your husband into better behavior, you weren't able to inspire him into better behavior. All of these things exist. And I stayed in a relationship too long, probably because of fear of what would happen if I left, but also shame. And fear and shame hold a lot of people back in many different painful situations of their lives. So sure, I did not navigate it the same way that she did. I did not go hoeing, though I absolutely should have. I suppose I didn't want to. It didn't occur to me. But whatever moves you, you should just do it. I love that she did it, and I love that her ex-husband is hearing about it now. And I can guarantee he's not with anyone now. And if he is, he's not with anyone as amazing as she is. What did I do? I moved straight into a new relationship for almost protection. I moved into a relationship with someone who presented outwardly as very aggressive, and I thought that I needed to do that. It finally gave my ex a very clear picture that we were done. And I probably learned lessons in that relationship, but it wasn't the right one. That person was definitely on like a hoeing journey, but I wasn't. Everybody just needs to live their authentic life. And I love when people open up about shame, and you should do whatever you want whilst being fully aware of the consequences that might, come knocking at your door if you are dealing with parenting a small child. Ideally, just don't get married. Definitely don't choose anyone crazy. Definitely don't have children. I think that's what she said. I think she said having a child with the wrong man can ruin your life. Like, short term, she's absolutely right. It can be one of the hardest things ever. And I think I just want to stress back to my conversation with Erica Komisar is that there are a lot of caveats to it. I understand how people can feel like they're not seen by what she says, or feel like it's an oversimplification, or feel like it doesn't apply to them, or she's not inclusive of everyone in her language, but I really feel like she is. You just have to, and I think this is why I'm able to hold two truths at the same time. I'm of course in a really privileged position, but like even when I wasn't, of course my greatest fear was not being with my daughter all the time because I was her primary attachment figure. It wasn't 50-50 before I left. So why would it be 50-50 after I left? But the courts in America can do that to you, and you should just be aware of it. Does that mean you should never leave? No. But if you're someone who just doesn't get along with that person anymore and maybe you could delay leaving, she's just suggesting that maybe you do that. To clarify, I think women need their own money. To clarify, I think we haven't reached a point with equal parenting that we aim to get to one day. I think the onus definitely falls on the mothers. I don't think that Erica Komisar perpetuates that. I do think she just acknowledges it. I think if you are in any unsafe relationship, in any definition of unsafe, you should leave, but also leaving can be lethal as well. So take everything you hear with a grain of salt. Cherry pick from it what is a lesson for you, what applies to your life. Maybe you'll see something that you disagree with, and that will teach you a lesson. You'll be like, hey, you know what? I really believe the thing that I stood in before, even more now that I've heard this opposite argument. I can see black and white, like how much I disagree with it. And, and I'm glad I spoke to her, and I really love her. And if you are getting a divorce, or even if you're single and you're thinking, hey, what would it be like to marry the wrong person and get a divorce? You can get Erica Komisar's new book, The Child Healthy Divorce. I have a gig in August 3rd at the Camden Roundhouse. You can go on their website. Judy Love is on that show, Michelle DeSwart, Jack Skipper, and Lou Sanders, and me. It's going to be amazing. My new book, Firstborn Daughter, has been delivered, and it is released October 22nd. There's going to be an audiobook. You can pre-order at Waterstones, at Amazon, kind of anywhere you get books. Pre-ordering really matters to the author. It tells bookstores that there's a demand for your book. It really helps to pre-order, so I would appreciate that. And there's a helicopter coming over the podcast studio now, so I'm going to take that as my cue to leave. Please look after each other. Goodbye.